to you all. Welcome back. I know you must have been uh, eagerly looking forward for the session again, though you all may be missing your school. Today we shall start with a new topic, ecosystem. Ecosystem, eco means it comes from the word ecology. Clear? And logy means to study. Now, when we talk about ecosystem, it means the structural and functional aspect or unit of biosphere. Biosphere means the whole universe. That includes the living components, plants, animals, and microbes. So, their unit of biosphere is the ecosystem. Clear? In simplified forms, it means the interaction between the living organism, plants, animals and microbes with the non-living environment. Clear? That is, non-living environment includes atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. Now, when we talk about ecosystem is of two types. One is natural occurring or permanent, and the other is artificial, man-made or temporary ecosystem. So what is natural ecosystem? Ecosystems which are found or occur naturally in the nature, like pond ecosystem, forest ecosystem. So when you go near a pond, what do you observe? You find the water, you may be finding some living organisms in the form of fishes, some like tadpoles and all, and plants also, and they interact among each other. Clear? So they are permanent. Whereas when we talk about man-made ecosystem, it means that when we talk about aquarium, it is man-made. What do? We prepare the aquarium. It has, of course, it has got living components in the form of those goldfish and the other colorful fishes and the water. But once if you stop feeding, giving them the food, the fishes die. Got it? But when we talk about the natural ecosystem, they have stability. With the death of few organisms, the whole ecosystem does not collapse. Clear? That's why they are called as permanent. Whereas when we talk about artificial or man-made, let us cite one more example. Cropland, that is the field. The farmers grow one type of crop, and suppose if they are attacked by insects or animals and they eat away the crops, or the crop gets diseased, then in that case the whole ecosystem, that is that whole area of the living organism in that particular area, are destroyed. So that's why it is called as temporary. Now, what are the biotic components of ecosystem? Like I said, ecosystem means biotic component and abiotic component. Biotic component are plants, animals and microbes. Clear? Now, there are some terms such as population. What is population? A group of living organisms which are similar in structure and function. For example, when I say a population of human beings, it means what? It will include human beings, whether he or she is an Indian or a Chinese or a Japanese or an African or an American. It means the human being species. Clear? So that is called as a population of human beings. Then we talk about a population of cats, a population of dogs and so on. That means group of living organisms that are similar in structure and function. Now, when an assemblage of different population interact with each other, that is called as biotic community. Take the case of your school campus or the area where you live. You have a population of human beings. You may find trees around. That is also a population of plants. Then you may have population of animals in the form of cows or dogs or the birds. So what happens? They interact with each other or coordinate with each other. So that interaction between the different populations of living organism in a particular area or a specific area is called as biotic community. But they are also influenced by the surrounding environment. Clear? So that abiotic component or the non-living component interacts with the biotic component, which is called as ecosystem. Now let us come back to biotic components. What I said, it includes plants, animals and microbes. So number one is producers. Why they are called as producers? Because these living organisms can manufacture their own food. That includes green plants, certain chemosynthetic bacteria and blue-green algae, that is the cyanobacteria. They are called producers, as well as they are also called as autotrophs. Next comes the consumers. Consume means to consume food. They cannot prepare their own food and they have to depend on the producers or plants for their nutrition. Clear? So these consumers are called as heterotrophs. Consumers include primary consumers, which include herbivores that depend directly on producers for the food. We have the cow, buffalo, goat and so on. Then we have secondary consumers. What are those? They are also called as carnivores. They depend on herbivores for their food. That is the primary consumers for the food or the nutrition. That like you have the frog. Got it? They depend on the insects like the birds. They depend on insects for the food. Insects may be sucking nectar. That is the plant product. Got it? So, secondary consumers depend on primary consumers for their food. They include birds, frogs, insects and so on. Then we have tertiary consumers. They are the next higher level. What do? They feed on the secondary consumers for their food or nutrition. That include high level of that is animals such as wolves, jackals. Got it? And the topmost level are the quaternary level or consumers, which are also called as top carnivores. They are usually not attacked by the other smaller animals, which include lion, they include eagle. Clear? So they are also called as top carnivores. Beside this, we also have a group of living organisms which can eat both plant and animal products. Those are omnivores. So man, crow, they all come under omnivores. And we have a special group of living organisms that are called as decomposers. Clear? So when the plants or animals die, their body get decomposed. So there are certain living organisms which feed on the dead remains of these animals and plants. Therefore, they are called as decomposers. Clear? And what do? They break down the complex organic compounds into simpler forms. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, they are broken down into simpler forms and returned back to the environment. Clear? And these decomposers include bacteria, fungi, as well as you have the other groups that is also called as scavengers. You have the vultures. Clear? Then we come to abiotic components. They are the non-living part of the ecosystem. That includes climatic factors, organic factors, got it, and inorganic factors. Climatic factors includes light, water, humidity, topography. Clear? Organic, you have the carbohydrates, and inorganic, you have the other minerals. Clear? So that is all about today. Next class we will be continuing with in detail how these abiotic components work in coordination with the biotic components. So this is the ecosystem. Like in the chapter wise, you may be asked the definition of ecosystem, examples of man-made and natural ecosystem. A difference may be asked. You can cite the difference. that is natural occurring. They have stability. They do not get destroyed easily, whereas artificial or man-made, they are temporary in nature. They do not have a long life. You can cite the examples. Then you have the population, community. Biotic components and abiotic components. Then we have this one, consumers. Consumers may be including primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and omnivores. They also come under consumers and decomposers. Under that decomposers, we have got two types, saprophytes and scavengers. Saprophytes includes plants which cannot manufacture their own food, or they also include the fungi group which cannot prepare their own food and feed on decompose of dead plants and animals. Whereas scavengers include animals which feed on remains of dead animals and dead animals. So you may be asked the definition of, or what do you mean by decomposers, or you may be asked what do you mean by saprophytes and scavengers. You can say decomposers are grouped into two types, saprophytes and scavengers. Saprophytes, plants feeding on dead remains, and scavengers, animals feeding on dead remains of animals.